What if I told you that arguing is a sign of weakness? Think about the last time you saw two people locked in a heated debate, voices rising, faces turning red, each convinced they're right, but neither making any real progress. Maybe it was an online comment war, a political debate on TV, or even a personal argument that left both sides more frustrated than before. Friedrich Nietzsche had a radical take on this. Arguing, in his eyes, wasn't a sign of strength, but of weakness. He saw endless debates as a waste of energy, a distraction for those who lack the will to impose their vision upon the world. Instead of talking, Nietzsche believed that the strong act. They shape reality rather than fight over words. So what exactly did Nietzsche mean? And why did he believe that the strongest individuals have no need for debate? For Nietzsche, strength was never about physical dominance or social status alone. It was about the will to power, the inner force that drives individuals to create, shape, and impose their vision upon the world. The truly strong don't waste their energy debating and justifying themselves to others. They act. To Nietzsche, arguing is a symptom of insecurity. Think about it. When someone truly believes in their vision, they don't feel the need to convince others. They simply live it. The weak, on the other hand, often cling to arguments because they lack the power to manifest their beliefs in reality. They seek validation through words instead of proving their strength through action. The strong create their own values instead of trying to win debates. Nietzsche admired figures throughout history who shaped the world through sheer will rather than through persuasion. They didn't beg for agreement. They demanded through their presence, their decisions, and their ability to act. So if arguing is for the weak, what do the strong do instead? We like to think that rational debate is the best way to find the truth. The idea is simple. Put forth arguments, counter-arguments, weigh the evidence, and let logic decide. But Nietzsche wasn't convinced. To him, truth is not something we passively discover through reason. It's something that's imposed through power, perspective, and assertion. In other words, truth isn't just sitting out there waiting to be found. It's often created and enforced by those who have the will to define it. Consider political debates. Do they actually change minds? More often than not, they just reinforce existing beliefs. People argue not to uncover truth, but to assert dominance, to win the conversation, humiliate opponents, and gain social leverage. This, Nietzsche believed, was a waste of energy. Instead of engaging in these endless battles of words, the strong act in ways that shape reality itself. So if truth isn't discovered through argument, how is it determined? Nietzsche's answer: by those bold enough to create it. The truly powerful don't waste their time convincing others, they simply act. Instead of getting caught up in debates over what should or shouldn't be, they shape reality according to their vision. This is at the heart of Nietzsche's concept of the will to power, the drive to create, impose, and manifest one's will upon the world. A key part of Nietzsche's philosophy is his distinction between master morality and slave morality. Masters act. They don't justify their existence, nor do they seek permission. They decide what is valuable and live accordingly. Slaves argue. Lacking direct power, they try to convince others, moralize, and manipulate through words rather than action. This is why Nietzsche saw arguing as a tool of the weak, a way for those without real power to gain influence in systems they don't control. Instead of forging their own path, they try to slow down, convince, or guilt-trip those who do. Think about entrepreneurs, artists, and warriors. They don't sit around debating what's possible. They do. An entrepreneur doesn't argue over whether their business idea will work. They test it, build it, and prove it through action. Artists don't waste time trying to justify their vision to critics. They create. Warriors don't debate strategies endlessly. They move, they fight, they win. For Nietzsche, this is the true mark of strength. Acting instead of arguing. Imposing one's will instead of seeking approval. And that leads us to an important question. How should we apply this idea to our own lives? Nietzsche wasn't against thinking. He wasn't even against discussion. In fact, he valued deep questioning and intellectual strength, but only when it served a purpose. What he despised was empty intellectualism. Arguing for the sake of arguing, throwing around theories without ever applying them. For Nietzsche, debate is only worthwhile if it leads to action, transformation, or the creation of something real. Otherwise, it's just another way to waste energy. Look at Nietzsche himself. He didn't waste time arguing with academics, trying to win over philosophers of his time. Instead, he wrote books that reshaped philosophy forever. His ideas didn't spread because he debated. They spread because they were powerful enough to stand on their own. That's the key lesson here. Don't debate just to debate. Use ideas to build something, to act, to create. If a conversation isn't leading to transformation, it's just noise. So what does this mean for us in the modern world? How can we apply Nietzsche's perspective in a way that makes us stronger? So, what's the takeaway? How do we live by Nietzsche's principle that the strong don't argue, they act? Instead of trying to convince others, become undeniable through your actions. Don't waste time proving yourself with words. Let your work, achievements, and presence speak for you. Whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal growth, show your strength by doing, not debating. Ask yourself, am I debating to change the world, or just to win points? If a conversation is pushing you to act, improve, or create, it's useful. But if it's just an ego battle, step away. It's a distraction from real power. Focus on building, creating, and acting, rather than seeking approval. Whether it's a business idea, an artistic vision, or a personal goal, commit to it without waiting for permission or validation. The strong don't need others to agree with them. They move forward anyway. When someone tries to bait you into a pointless argument, respond with power, not words. If someone insults you, Nietzsche wouldn't tell you to argue back. He'd say the strong person either ignores it or proves their superiority through action. If someone doubts you, let your success be the answer. Nietzsche's challenge to us is simple. Stop wasting energy trying to convince others. Act so decisively that they have no choice but to see your strength. And that leaves us with one final thought. What if you stopped arguing altogether and focused entirely on action? How much could you accomplish?